Hey YouTube, it's Tamika. Just coming by to record a video. It's like almost 2 in the morning. It's kind of late. I don't know why I'm not sleepy. I just rather record a video than go to bed. Then I plan on going to bed after that. It's been a while and I haven't made time, and there's like a lot of stuff that I wanted to go over. So a lot has happened. So this will probably turn into like 2 different videos that I post at later dates. So first, I wanted to talk about my ER visit. When did I go to the ER? Probably closer, probably in the, yeah, I was 17 weeks when I went to the ER. So what happened was that week was probably one of the most stressful weeks of my pregnancy. Pretty much I had an audit at work. So I was working a lot more often than I normally do. So just working a lot, kind of stressed out, dealing with a new employee that I hired. Not that that was that stressful, but just there was a lot going on, and I didn't get my typical amount of rest. So, believe it was a Friday night, and I'm just like about to spend all weekend literally working on this. What was it? A 20-page paper, and then like a 4-page paper. So I'm literally about to spend Friday, Saturday, and Sunday just cranking it out after a 40-hour plus week. So, and that's typically not how much I worked. So, um, I was about to do that, and as soon as I sat at my computer, I felt like a gush of blood, and I'm probably over exaggerating with a gush of blood, but I felt blood, period. I knew I was bleeding. So, I checked it out, and I literally like freaked out. I knew, that's something I'll get into in a minute. I pretty much knew what it was. I wasn't worried about her, but I just needed to know, that she was fine. So I went to the emergency room. I didn't bleed much after that, but I just still wanted to know that she was fine. So I literally spent all night in the emergency room. And I think I got there at like 8, and I didn't leave until like 4 or 5 in the morning. My mom drove from Douglasville to come see me and stay with me, which was a blessing because I was getting really irritable because seems like in the emergency room they kind of, well, I'm sure they do, they have to, they prioritize. So there was a lot of people that were like jumping in front of me, and I literally waited probably 3 hours for a sonogram. And then when I went up to the sonogram, they were, or to the room where they do them, they were going to give me a vaginal sonogram because somebody told them I was 14 weeks. That kind of upset me because the hospital was really dirty, and it was just like, I don't know. I wish I would have gone to like a better hospital, but I was just freaking out so bad until I just went to the nearest one. Um, there was literally like this lady next door to us that was screaming and yelling for like drugs. It was, well, she was yelling for, I guess, like codeine or something like that. And she just was in the hallway crying. It was kind of crazy. As a substance abuse counselor, I guess I wasn't like, my response wasn't the same as my mom. She was more so like, oh, poor baby. I just really felt like she may have been like a drug addict, and was seeking drugs. That's what I got from it, but I could just be being judgmental. But anyway, so that was a little stressful. But once, well, because to back up a little bit, I ended up getting a pelvic exam, like a pap smear almost, and that was horrible. She just, I don't know, I guess because it was the emergency room. She's probably maybe not used to doing them or something, but it was very painful. So, anyway, that was random, but very painful. And so then I went upstairs, got a sonogram. She was actually growing. She was like 3 days ahead, which that was the first time she's ever been ahead. She's usually like right on track. And I think the last sonogram before that, she was a day behind. So to hear that she was 3 days ahead was great. Um, Literally, I had my gender scan on that Monday. So I was, heading to see the doctor. And then I also had a meeting, well, not a meeting, but an appointment with a midwife that same week. So I went in there for the gender scan. She's still sitting with her legs closed and crossed. And she said she thinks it's a girl. So she wasn't 100% sure either. So I hope it's a girl. But I'm sure it's a girl. But so she's a little shy. And so all of that was fine. The only thing is that I did realize, anyway, I think the 14 weeks scan when I went to see him, he said something about my placenta, but it was kind of unsure. He told me not to worry about it, but he gave me an indicator that there may be some bleeding. So when I did start to bleed, I figured that was it, but I didn't know exactly what he was talking about. So when I went to the emergency room, they did tell me that I had a anterior placenta and that it was lying low. It's not completely covering my cervix, or I think I'm using the right words, but basically if it's covering where she's supposed to come out, I can't have a natural birth. So then I would have to get a C-section, clearly, if it can't be natural. So I'd have to get a C-section. But I think what he was trying to say is that 14 weeks is way too early to tell, and it's not super uncommon for it to be lying low. And then as my cervix grows, then it's definitely, I think 90% of the time when it's lying low at that point, as your cervix grows, it moves as well. When I went for the 20-week scan, they basically said the same thing. I kind of wanted to gauge to see if it had moved up from 14 weeks or kind of what was going on with it. She said it was like I don't know, it was his assistant or something. She was like, they couldn't really tell last time, so they couldn't give me a gauge, which I don't know how much I believe that, but oh well. I have a scan in a couple of weeks, so we'll go from there. But I believe I can see my placenta in the sonograms, but she lays so funny until they they have to flip the pictures, because literally in her most recent sonograms, she's always like laying on her legs. Excuse me, I'm a little itchy. But she's always laying on her legs. So when they flip it, I can't really tell where the placenta is. And I know she tries to, from what they say, sometimes babies want to cuddle up against their placenta. It's so cute. Let's see what else. But other than that, oh yeah, they changed my due date. I didn't really like that because she was measuring ahead. Now she's measuring right on time, which my calculations are more accurate than theirs. It shouldn't be based off my cycle. It should be based off of when New Hope put the put the blast in, which is a lot more accurate. And I can see why they want to go with your cycle, which makes sense, because most doctors are going to just say, okay, we're going to go with your cycle, and they could be completely off. So I was freaking out about that, because I don't want them to have to, I guess, to rewind a little bit, I don't want a C-section. Like when I think about C-sections, they make me sad. They make me like, I don't want to be cut open. I've never had any major surgeries. I've never had stitches, and I'd like to keep it like that, if at all possible. So I don't want to be cut open, and I just feel like if they change her due date, then they may be more prone to want to cut me open if she's not ready to go at a certain time, which leads me to leads me to my next piece in just a second. So that was a concern, but that same week I had a very busy week that next week, but it was a very pleasant week, a lot of positive stuff going on rather than a lot of negative. But so I think like Thursday of that week, I went to to see the birthing center. The midwives kind of gave their philosophy on things and stuff, so it was really good. And I found with them that because they're pretty much ran by midwives. When they plan a C-section, or when they schedule a C-section, they don't have like a set time. Like if the baby hasn't come out within like 10 days or whatever of your due date, that they're going to induce you. It's pretty much based on the baby. If she's in distress, how is she doing? It's based on that, and that for me is good. So they can do whatever, they want to do with my due date, but it's going to be based on her and where she is. So I'm completely fine with that. If she's in distress and she needs to be cut out, then that's fine. But I don't want them just to go get her because they feel like she's been in there too long. So that gave me a little bit of peace. But so in terms of the placenta, I feel pretty positive about it that it will move. Um, Definitely prayed about it because I really don't want a C-section. I want to do it naturally, especially after seeing the birthing center. I learned more about water birth. You don't literally sit in the tub all day because you can actually relax yourself out of labor. If you go in too soon, they consider, or like the midwife made a joke. She said that water birth is like a aquadural, that it works so well. If you do it at the right time, the baby will just come out. They do have birthing balls in the room and a shower. So if water is your thing, you can be in the shower a lot of the time, which that sounds like probably where I will be. Um, Most of the time, I still have not scheduled my hypnobirthing classes. And since I'm at 20 weeks, almost 21 weeks, I need to do that. I need to like write a to-do list, but I have not done that yet. Um, but I do. Well, actually, she said that a good time to do it would be during the holidays when I'm not working as much. So I guess I haven't quite missed my personal deadline for that yet. So, let's see, anything else about my placenta? I've had no more bleeding since then. I really believe that it was connected to the stress. So I've been doing as much as I can to de-stress, sleeping when I need to, canceling appointments when I need to, and just really taking care of me and making sure that's number one priority because I'm not really into the bleeding thing because I probably will go back to the emergency room if I bleed again just to know she's fine and we're cool. I don't mind sitting there all night. Um, and then me and my mom had fun, so we were laughing and joking once. I guess at certain points we were, but it was a blessing to have her there. Body changes. Yesterday, for the first time, someone just randomly asked me like, "When are you due?" Which is kind of cool. I was waiting for that moment to where I don't have to tell people that I'm pregnant. Not that just where it's obvious. So I've been waiting to see when that would happen. So it happened at 20 weeks, which is cool. She may have already known because she's an old foster parent to some kids that I have, and I know they're really excited. So they may have told her or whatever. So, but I don't know. Weight gain. I went to the doctor 1 week and I hadn't gained any weight. And then like a few days later, I had gained like 3 pounds. So, still not much weight gain. No, only place I have stretch marks are like my boobs. My boobs are like the most place that's, the where the most of the action is going. Like my nipples are once, one point they were really like, I don't know the correct terms for this stuff, but they just look really open. And you could see like, I don't know the terms. I can't hardly describe it, but it just was really open. My nipples seemed open. That I know that sounds probably crazy, but then now it's like closed. It's not as open, and you can like see. Sometimes I think white stuff comes out of it. Not really like a liquid, but it's like kind of dry. Um, uh, and then the freckles are there. They're like pretty much not all over my chest, but like in different spots, and especially like down the middle, you can see them. That black line, I'm not sure what it's called, but I definitely have one of those. I think that's cool. I've always wanted one. My aunt, I think I probably said this in the last video, but when she was pregnant with my cousin, she got one, and I was so fascinated by it. So let's see what else. Birthing center, I went over that. I wasn't too impressed by the facilities, but I'll be able to do a water birth. And the cool thing about it is the midwives pretty much work with you at the hospital. So, they trump the nurses, so they can't take over and kind of not follow through with your birthing plan. So that was really good to know. I was really feeling some sort of way about the practice before I went to the meet and greet, but once I went to the meet and greet, it was really awesome. I really felt like this was a good fit. I think sometimes I'm a little more um, anxious than they are. They're just like, it is what it is. The process is the process, and that's it. I'm gonna stop this now because my phone may not do the right thing with this. But yeah.